See, it might be too loud, Dad. I should maybe sit this one out.
No, it's good.
All right.
Oh, is that Noah here?
Yeah,
That is. Hello, Brother Nick.
Hey, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good,
Yeah, I think we're going to be without Uncle Guy or Cousin Bradley. I don't know where Brad is. He was invited.
Early for in the mountains.
A Shinn Show, a Shinn Show, a Shinn Show, a Shinn Show. Well, welcome to a Shinn Show, the car maintenance edition. With me is son Noah. Yes, indeed, there he is, working on his car. Daughter Sarah. Hello, Sarah.
Good morning.
And son Nicholas. Hello, Nicholas.
Hello. Good morning.
Yes, well, here we all are. It's been another week. Anything significant to report in your life? Why don't we start with Noah, who is busily replacing the shock absorber on a 2013 Ford Escape.
Yeah, I've done a lot of car work, replacing car batteries, replacing shock absorbers, replacing, what was the other thing? Oh, replacing coolant, changing coolant. Yeah, car work, it's been about as crazy as my life's gotten. What about you?
We'll get to me. But let's move on to Sarah, Nick. Sarah, Nick, anything crazy happening this last week? Anything interesting?
It was Murphy's birthday yesterday.
Yeah.
That's probably the biggest thing. And Mother and I made a tattoo appointment for her birthday. We're going to get a mother-daughter tattoo.
Oh, really? That's interesting. I do hear in the background like some feedback. That's fascinating. Well, anyway, I'm sure your mother's going to enjoy getting another tattoo. She has a tattoo, doesn't she, someplace?
Yeah, a little shitty one on her toe.
This new tattoo is going to be special.
We're going to do it right.
Yeah, no question about it. True or false? I was at the first tattoo you got when you were 18.
I didn't think you were there. I think you were there for my first lip piercing.
It's possible, yeah. I thought it was right on your 18th birthday, though.
It was directly on my 18th birthday because immediately following that, I went to a metal concert.
Oh, and I could have sworn you started getting a tattoo later or shortly thereafter. But yeah, anyway. So yeah, those were good times. So I'm glad you're doing that. Outstanding. And Nick, anything happening with you?
No, just work.
The
I want
grind.
to say that somebody at work did something crazy, but not really.
What they did was they tried to lift this big container of a beverage over their head, but then the floor was greasy, and then they fell, and it got all over them, and then someone came up and hugged them afterwards. Oh, wait.
That's not funny. That's just workman comp.
Yeah.
That might have been something I saw on Reddit. But
somebody did come in like a week ago, and they were like, man, it's just a good thing that this wasn't my table because I may have been fired. But they were like, on Tuesday, children, they eat free, right? Okay. And this person comes in and they're like, so they just eating with their kid. It was this lady and her 4-year-old, maybe 5-year-old daughter. And she's like, so how does this whole free kids thing work? She said to somebody, I heard all of this third hand afterwards, but I was like, well, they were like, yeah, the kid eats free. And she's like, oh, just the kid? And they're like, yeah. And she's like, oh, well, I wish I would have known that because I thought I ate for free too. I don't have any money. And then the manager had to get involved. But then I was just like, it's a good thing she didn't say that to me because I would have just made her feel stupid for that. Like, what do you...
it's called kids eat free.
Yeah, right there. That's the whole explanation. Second off, what do you think this is? Like once a week that we just let everybody come in and eat free? Like, it's still a business. Like,
no, not everybody. Just those with children.
No one does that. Like, unless it's a homeless shelter. So I wanted to ridicule her, but...
It wasn't your table.
It wasn't my table, so I didn't.
And as you said, you heard it third hand anyway.
Yeah. Well,
So
I did mean to ask how that got resolved because.
Well, I'm sure that they just let her finish her meal and escorted her off the property, I would think, so as to avoid.
Don't you pay beforehand?
No.
Oh.
Well, maybe that's a policy they should start at that restaurant.
No. You don't want to.
It's a lot of buffets.
Well, it is, but then a lot of buffets, you don't have a server. Like, you wouldn't get tipped if they paid beforehand.
Oh, good point.
Why would they tip you if you haven't done anything yet?
Yeah.
Well, these are all
Tipping
excellent
culture
points.
is dumb.
So that was interesting. All right.
Tipping
So
culture is dumb, but it's really important because, like, you make a lot of money.
You have the potential to.
Well, you will if you're at the right. I will if I'm at the right place. If they paid me an hourly wage, they would literally have to pay me $20 an hour for it to be anywhere near worth
Your
what I do
time.
now. Yeah.
So
Wow.
therefore, what do you think about these efforts to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour? Wouldn't that impact the additional tips if people knew you were making 15 skins an hour?
That minimum wage does not affect servers. Servers make $2 an hour, and that's it. Period. Dot. $2.50, I think. And that's all across the board throughout the United States. Because if you made $15 an hour on top of the tips, that would be an insane job. I'd be like very well off if I made $15 an hour on top of about $20 an hour in tips.
But if everyone else's minimum wage got raised and yours didn't, so they continued to tip you, it would be better for you because more people have more money to tip.
And those with lower incomes are more inclined to tip.
On paper, yeah.
That's true.
But, if someone's going to tip, they're going to tip. And if they're not, they're not. It doesn't matter how much money they have. They always have some weird justification in their head to not or to tip. Whether it's some dude pulling up in a Corvette or some dude riding his bike there.
It's true. So that's the whole tipping culture thing, right? That's why I always just tip 20%. I just tip 20% as a matter of course. Because it takes all the figuring out of it. You don't have to figure
you
it.
do because it's simple and, whatever. But some people have a principle not to tip.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that seems
Unless
like
they
a...
get exceptional service.
Well, dude, nah. Even then, you're either going to or you're not going to. It's like it's a personal preference thing because you don't have to. You know what I mean? So it's up to you to decide whether or not you're going to or not. Me, since I've been a server, I never tip under $5. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
$5 or 15%. That's usually what I go.
Yeah.
Tip or tip not. That's what Yoda would say.
Yeah,
Okay.
tip. Fuck what Yoda's talking about. Right?
All right. So very good. So on to the current events of the week. And there were some interesting things happening, obviously. Kind of an interesting thing when a president goes to a place where a national tragedy has happened and he's met with protests by people who don't want him there. That happened.
Good.
Okay. What part of that is good? The protest or the tragedy?
The part about that
Jesus.
is people protesting, a leader they feel isn't representing.
Okay, fair enough. All right. And so that happened. And then also that same leader later that week said he was going to end the 14th Amendment with an executive order.
Yeah, you
Because he
can't do that.
Well, I never thought you could. What's that, Sarah?
Apparently, he says you can.
Apparently he does say that. But in fact, no, dog. I don't think he can.
You can't. No, you can't end amendments with an executive. Well, actually, I don't know. I don't know if anyone's ever tried that.
Well, he's about to try it. I mean, he probably won't try it because it goes without saying that to get an amendment to the Constitution, there's a whole process that's involved. That's in the Constitution itself. The Constitution describes what the process is to amend the document, and it's not easy. That's why in the course of over 200 years, we've only had 25 or 26 or 27 amendments, or whatever it is. It's not that many.
I don't know. This whole totalitarian, authoritarian streak is par for the course for Trump.
Well,
It's frustrating. I think it's gross. And hopefully it won't come to anything.
well, we'll find out. So on Tuesday, everybody in the country has a chance to elect their local representative to Congress in terms of the House of Representatives. The House gets reelected every 2 years in a stroke of genius on the act of the founders, I think. Anyway, so have y'all voted yet? Can you do early voting in Nebraska?
We submitted our ballots, but apparently did it late. So I have to run to the election commissioner tomorrow, pick up an early ballot for everyone because they've all said they won't go into the polling place on Tuesday. So I said, okay, fine. I'll go pick up ballots. We'll all vote together. It'll be a party. We'll put them back.
Awesome. So you're going to have a vote party. Excellent. Very good. Nick, you'll participate in that vote party, I take it?
Yeah.
Awesome. Voting will take place. No, what about you? Are you going to vote?
Oh, yeah, of course. As a Canadian citizen, they love it when I vote.
You're allowed, aren't you, as a green card holder? Can't you vote?
No, that's how the whole citizenship voting thing works. Because a green card is not citizenship.
Really? You can't vote?
No.
That seems unfair. I mean, you pay taxes, don't you? I mean, they take Social Security out of your check, don't they?
No, all of this is true.
Huh. Really?
Oh, you better believe they're quick to get their money.
Yeah, because what I heard was that all immigrants are just kind of, they're loafers and stealing and they're taking money out of the system and they're not paying any money into the system.
Exactly. And taking them good American jobs.
Yeah. Those
bullshit.
Yeah, well, I didn't know.
It's only the illegal ones that do that.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
The legal ones are contributing. Thank you for contributing legally, son. Appreciate that.
Happy to help.
All right, very good. So let's see. What else happened in terms of current events? As perhaps you might expect this, the Khashoggi case is fading into the background. The prince, Mohammed.
Did you hear his body was dissolved in acid?
Oh, is that the newest? Is that the latest? I thought he was chopped up in tiny bits.
Oh, well, and then apparently dissolved in acid.
Okay, well, here's the point. You're not going to be finding a body. Producing remains is not going to happen. They disappeared that guy.
Habeas corpus.
How macabre. Halloween's over. Hey, here's another question for you. Actually, here's a current event that's significant. Immediate significance. Daylight savings time. We're on it now, I think. Or we're off it. Or are we on standard time? I'm so confused.
I don't know. But it didn't help as much as I thought it would.
Yeah, getting that extra hour.
I was still tired as hell when I woke up. Like 1:30.
I was like, I went to bed at like 12:30. So, I mean, I got a solid 8 hours.
I got a solid 7.5 hours.
All right. Well, so people got sleep. But still, that whole ratcheting back, the whole clock ratcheting back, changing times twice a year, I don't know.
We should all just be on Zulu Standard Time and forget it.
Well, if we were on Zulu time right now, unless I'm very much mistaken, it would be 3:30 in the afternoon instead of, or 3:50 in the afternoon instead of 9:50.
Oh, shit. I'm late for work.
Right?
Just universally, let's do away with time zones. Have one thing.
Well, no, okay. Universally, no time zones is the problem because now 3 in the afternoon here is the same thing as 3 in the afternoon in Japan, and the sun is gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's revolving around the sun. No, you said China does no time zones?
Yeah, I heard that somewhere that China does like one standard time zone across the whole country.
Hey,
it's fucking.
It's always Mao time in China.
It's Mao time. It's famine time, baby.
Speaking of China,
yeah,
I read an article this week. I was talking with my buddy at work about this. They have implemented a social economic system.
Yeah.
So this is like in 5% of the population or something that they've implemented this. But they look at your actions in the community. They look at your past spending, and they issue a social score.
Social score, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there was this coal miner who took out at like a 1.5 million loan, million, whatever their currency is.
Let's call it the won, for the sake of argument, or the renminbi. I've heard it called both things, but he took out a loan in Chinese currency.
Right.
Yep.
And then the coal market crashed. So he had all the surplus of coal and a loan he couldn't pay.
Yeah.
So recently, when they implemented this social system, he found that he couldn't pay it back. So a few weeks later, after they implemented this thing, he found out that he was blacklisted. So he went to like purchase a plane ticket to go visit somewhere, and his card was denied. And it said, "We're not allowed to sell to you." So then he went and tried to buy a train ticket, and he couldn't. They had blacklisted him, and the train had said, sorry, we can't tell you, you're on this list. So then he was just walking down the street, and there was like this electronic flyer thing that was circling through faces, and his face was on there, and he was listed as not trustworthy. So China has implemented this system based on your past spending, based on how involved you are in the community, and they will basically ostracize you if you don't meet their their conditions.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's all a part. It's kind of a Black Mirror type situation. But
yeah, that doesn't seem like a good thing.
Well,
it's not. Well, I mean, it's a better system than no system. I mean,
I don't know.
I think
they were dealing with.
The way Sarah described it, this guy, it was a circumstance that was kind of out of his control. I mean, they took out a loan in the coal business, and then he should have known that the coal thing was going to go downhill here pretty soon. But so now he's untrustworthy because he didn't protect the coal market.
Well, apparently, when people on the street were polled, they said that they felt safer because they could identify these quote unquote untrustworthy people. But how is this guy untrustworthy when he just had a bout of bad luck?
He may be untrustworthy. We don't know that he's not untrustworthy.
We don't know that he's not untrustworthy. That's an excellent point. I mean, the fact
the guy when he was interviewed said that I found out that pretty much the only people I could talk to was these coal industry people. So it ostracized all of them, made them a tighter knit community. So all it is, I feel like it's very polarizing, and although I do feel like it leaves a large black market opportunity.
Well,
they can't go anywhere. They can barely buy the necessities. They can't,
Well, that'll teach him to take out a big loan that he can't pay back, won't it?
I guess.
Yeah.
Teach them for being born in China.
Yes. Well, let me tell you another thing, which is Noah's view that, this system is better than no system. I think what you would call no system is the old-fashioned concept of freedom.
You could call it that. You could also call it the inability to get a loan ever.
Right.
Which I guess is after you fail.
You could also call it anarchy.
You could call it anarchy. We actually have a system just like that in the United States. It's called your credit score.
Well, that's what they're trying to mirror.
Yeah, they are.
Except we don't have, like most people in China don't have a credit score, right? Like they've been all cash. They don't give a fuck, So they needed a way to
something similar,
find whether or not people are trustworthy. What did you say, sir?
I said, it is similar to our credit system, but they implement more of the social aspect. So,
Yeah, they just have a few more factors, based on their internet activity and so on, and all of it is obviously everything's now trackable. And the more trackable you are, the more your behavior can be quantified. And that's true in China, but it's also true in the United States. And frankly, you're going to see more of these types of systems emerge in all kinds of different countries. I will tell you this, Donald Trump doesn't need to end the 14th Amendment to increase the level of scrutiny that you face in your daily life. All anyone needs to do is expand the credit score to include a few other factors, and your freedoms will be curtailed significantly. Your economic freedom is already curtailed significantly if your credit score is not good. You'll pay more for credit if you can get it at all, and it will limit all kinds of economic opportunities that you might otherwise enjoy. So, that's the other side of, we're talking about China like, oh my gosh, they're terrible people for doing this. And they are. They are terrible people. But we are, bastard. Yeah, we've got our own issues to deal with here.
True that, homie.
Yeah, it is. So anyway, so much for current events, as far as I know. Any other current events that are, I will say this. I found this particularly interesting. So they figured out what was wrong with that Soyuz rocket that did not get all the way to the International Space Station. Should have killed those two astronauts. Would have killed those two astronauts had it been on some other system, but they made it safely back to Earth through the safety escape module, if you will. Anyway, so they're going to resume Soyuz flights, and cooperation between Russia and the United States will resume on the International Space Station. That's a good news story, I think.
Yeah.
It's a real good feel-good story.
It is. Yeah. We want to cooperate in space.
If not at home.
The science community to be the rational.
I didn't hear what you said there, sir.
I said trust the science community to be the rational.
That does make sense. The science community should be more rational. One would hope. They're the reality-based community, if you will. We like that. All right, so how about sports?
Ooh, sports. Donna.
Yeah.
You give us your analysis first.
Okay, very good. Well, my analysis, we're going to start with the corn shuckers, as we do each week. And
Corn shuckers.
they came close against the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Oh, we all knew that wasn't.
Yeah.
I feel like that should be their motto. You came close.
Sometimes they don't.
Well, that's true. Yeah, the 56-0 beatdown at the hands of Michigan was not close. So they came closer against Ohio State. They came closer. So
Ohio State, which conference?
They're Big
Same
Ten.
one.
Yeah, they're Big Ten.
Yeah.
I mean, but
Who do you think's the best in the Big Ten?
Right now, probably Michigan State, I'd guess. Maybe Michigan. I don't know. The Big Ten has gotten real weird since it got reorganized. I mean, isn't Notre Dame in the Big Ten? Shouldn't they be in the Big Ten? I think they're still independent, but really they should be a Big Ten team. Anyway, the point is that the Cornhuskers are bad. That's the point. But there's glimmers of hope. I saw an article that said 10 reasons why the Cornhuskers aren't as bad as you think. Like, I don't know. They've won one game this year, and it was against Bethune-Cookman. Maybe they won two. I guess they beat hapless Minnesota, too. But, yeah, they're not good. Anyway, so they're not good. But in NFL news, and this affects the Broncos rather mightily, they traded Demaryius Thomas to Houston for a draft pick.
They did, which is not, Texans are about to be shitting.
Yeah, the Texans have won 5 games in a row after an 0-3 start. Deshaun Watson has picked up the pace and has resumed his form.
Deshaun Watson is a phenomenal quarterback.
He is, and he's the quarterback for my fantasy team. Now,
well, that's a good pick.
Well, it was, except here's what happened. Last week I got so busy I forgot to set my lineup. And so Bradley, who I'm not sure where he's at this morning. Bradley should be with us, but he left in Blake Bortles as our fantasy quarterback. And so I gave up 30 fantasy points that Deshaun Watson had in favor of Blake Bortles. Like, he had 18 points. It wasn't horrible. But, it was. At the end of the day, I had to wear the ugly tie last week because I forgot to set my fantasy lineup. This week, I'm still probably going to lose, but I won't have to wear the ugly tie. So that should be a blessing. The biggest game of the week, America's game of the week, probably is going to be Green Bay going in to visit the Patriots. And
that's going to be a big deal.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers v. Tom Brady.
Yeah. Who's the greatest of all time? It's not even close. I mean, Brady's got 5 rings. Rodgers has 1. I mean, that's how you measure those things, in my opinion. It should be a good game. There's some good games on this weekend.
That's not the only factor. I mean, one player doesn't lead their team to a Super Bowl.
Well, true. I mean, it's true, but the fact remains.
But there are stats. There are actual just individual stats, though.
Yes, you're right, of course. And by some measures, you could argue that Peyton Manning was the greatest of all time or some other quarterback. But at the end of the day, there is only one quarterback who has ever won 5 Super Bowls, and that's Tom Brady.
That's true.
Now,
that is true.
Now, if you look to an earlier era, Bart Starr won 5 NFL championships, including 2 Super Bowls and 3 NFL championships. So you could say, well, now Tom Brady, all he did was catch up to Bart Starr. But, you can't really compare eras. I mean, there were...
Yeah, you can't. The whole athletic climate is different every year.
Yeah. I mean, during Super Bowl I, Len Dawson was smoking a cigarette at halftime. Yeah. So, I mean, the athleticism...
Like drinking a beer and shit.
Yeah, it's different. So, that might have been Super Bowl II. I think it was Super Bowl I. Anyway, look, here's the point. The point is that the other game of the week is going to be the Rams and New Orleans. That's going to be a heck of a game.
Yeah, that's going to be a good game.
I would guess the under on that is going to be like 70 points.
The Rams are on fire.
They're in fuego. They are indeed. But so's New Orleans. Speaking of the greatest of all time, you could make an argument that Breeze is right up there, despite having...
Drew Brees is up there, for sure.
He's in the pantheon of the greats.
Yeah. You know who's kind of falling off these days?
Who?
Old Eli.
Oh, Eli. Man, pathetic. It does argue, though, the poor seasons he's had the last few years. It does kind of argue, though, that maybe the 2 times he beat Tom Brady,
were a fluke.
Maybe both were flukes. Maybe it was a fluky thing 2 times. Yeah, lightning does strike twice. Lightning strikes twice all the time. That's a myth that lightning never strikes the same place twice.
Yeah, that is a myth.
Isn't there isn't it more likely to hit the same spot twice or something?
Yeah, I think that's
if it hits, it's going to hit the same spot twice.
Yeah.
There's a reason
in the area or something
that thing is more that spot is more conductive.
Yeah,
I think I could be. That sounds like some shit I could be making up, though.
I don't know.
There could be some electrical scientist out there. Not that there would be.
Electrical scientist. I like it.
Electrical scientist.
Not like a meteorologist.
Well, we have an apprentice electrician.
Meteorologists don't know shit. What are you talking about?
We've got an apprentice electrician really on the podcast right now. Noah, what's the story with lightning? Are you learning it?
So the thing about lightning is we don't really use it to power our buildings, so I have no idea.
So I know Jack.
Well, I thought it'd be worth checking.
There's no code for it.
Well, before we get all sidetracked on the electricity, Noah, have you been following the hockey scene at all?
Boy, have I not. No, I absolutely not. I want to. It's just like, things cost money.
Yeah.
Sling costs money.
Oh, I got you.
I don't have money. So
okay.
That's what it comes down.
Yeah, so you probably don't have the internet on your phone to check scores or anything. But
I mean, I could, but
ain't nobody got time for that.
I was kind of hoping you'd offer a hockey update, but I do have one thing prepared on the hockey front, which is that the Colorado Avalanche collapsed. They had a third period collapse. They were up 4-1 and ended up losing 6-5, which I thought was absolutely fascinating. How do you do that? And the answer is poor goalkeeping, poor goaltending, I guess. No, is it goalkeeping or goaltending?
I'm sorry. I'm working on the car right now. I'm a little preoccupied. I have no idea. Could be either.
I'm going to say goalkeeping.
I'd say it's a vernacular difference.
All right, very good. Well, and then finally, didn't Daniel Cormier defend his heavyweight and light heavyweight belts
like
last?
a motherfucker he did. We was in the middle of watching that fight, and our stream kind of collapsed, but it went down. Like he fucking tooled on Derek Lewis. He tooled on him. Derek Lewis caught him one time in the eye, and his eye was kind of red, swollen. But
he said it affected him for like 30 seconds.
Yeah,
we were watching. It was like 2 minutes into the first round, and then it went down for about 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and then by the time we got the stream back up again, Daniel Cormier was having his hand raised.
Oh, got it.
Based on the highlight reel, it looked fucking embarrassing.
Yeah,
like Daniel Cormier, and it went down exactly like I said. Well, actually, Bubba called it even better. But what I said is that even though they're both strong, but Derek Lewis is a striker. And Daniel Cormier is got good striking too, but he's a Olympic wrestler, world-class wrestler. So to me, that means that Derek Lewis is under-equipped. If you you can't just throw bombs. He is a knockout artist, but you can't just use your hands when someone also has hands and wrestling.
It makes sense.
Got him on the mat so quickly.
Yeah, and they kept taking him down. And eventually, Derek Lewis exposed his back. This is the part that Bubba predicted. He said Derek Lewis is going to give up that back. Cormier is going to sink in a choke, and then that's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I hope you put some money on that fight.
I never fucking do. I always should, though.
No, you really shouldn't. Actually, gambling is the last thing that you should get yourself involved in.
You're right.
Yeah.
Maybe favors amongst ourselves.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
Right. That seems reasonable. Well, that sounds like it was a good fight for Daniel Cormier, who is cementing his reputation as the best pound-for-pound fighter in the UFC.
The R is silent, by the way.
Cormier. It's French.
Okay. I don't want to disrespect the man who will beat my ass. So
exactly.
So it does seem though that Cormier is cementing his reputation as the best pound-for-pound fighter in the MMA world.
Well, I don't know about best pound for pound fighter.
No, you don't think so?
He certainly has not had the most title defenses at all.
Although
Mighty Mouse Johnson has the most title defenses. I think he's the pound for pound best fighter.
He is the only person to defend both of his belts, though, in UFC history.
That has defended both of his belts?
Yeah.
Correct.
Well, I mean, that seems pretty mighty. But not as mighty as Mighty Mouse, right?
For him very much.
What's that?
Yeah, Sarah and Murph aren't fond of Daniel Cormier for whatever reason, but
Why not?
I respect him as a fighter. It's reluctant.
But why? I mean, he's a great commentator, too. He's a very, very intelligent fellow with a great grasp of the sport.
Yeah, and he's a good sport, too.
That is true. He was very complimentary in his victory. Modest.
Gracious,
which I do like.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it when an MMA fighter has beaten some other guy's ass. I mean, just destroyed him and then say, oh, man, that was a tough fight. He's a great fighter. He's got the heart of a champion, but I just had the better of it tonight.
That's exactly what Daniel Cormier says every time.
I like that, but it is a little disingenuous, right?
Well, I mean, he can say whatever the fuck he wants. You know what I mean? He just beat his ass. So he can be like, yeah, that pussy over there didn't stand a fucking chance. He could say that.
He did.
If he wanted to.
He could.
Who's going to stop him?
No. No one will. Not without getting their ass beat.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, anyway, good for Daniel Cormier. And thanks for helping me pronounce that. Although it does remind me, Cormier, that's European. And I was at a place this week where I walked into the bathroom just to use the restroom, wash my hands, and there was a bidet. And I thought, oh, hang on just a second. I'm getting a delivery of coffee and banana bread. Oh, that's nice. Thank you. Oh, man, thank you so much. Man,
please tell me you made use of the bidet.
Oh, thank you. Oh, that's well, I didn't have time to use the bidet. That's the sad part. I mean, but I
could have made time. Just a quick,
I did note its presence. Oh, that's nice. That's real nice. That's what I said. Anyway, to myself. Hey, you know what? I forgot about pop culture. And so what I want to watch, but I have not, is the new Amazon Prime program called Homecoming, starring the Pretty Woman gal, Julia Roberts, and some other folks. I hear it's real good.
I don't know shit about that.
Okay, so the premise, excuse me, I'm enjoying some fresh from the oven banana bread. Boys are good. But the premise is that she's a counselor at a program for PTSD-affected veterans in Florida.
I can see why that would be interesting to you.
Right, but as you can imagine, there's more than meets the eye, because isn't really a program for these veterans. One of the veterans who she's supposedly counseling is...
Hey, knock it off.
Okay, I'll stop.
Hey, Mac. Sorry, the dogs are getting into it.
Oh,
I thought I knew Mike before I yelled at you. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Is this when, let's talk for a second about Ermac, the Wonder Great Dane. You have a Great Dane and you have a Chihuahua.
Yes, she's breathing heavily into the mic right now.
I see. So, I mean, between, Ermac and Lily, they're going to have some fights. I think
it was Moose and Ermac.
Oh, that's bad. That's bad. That's a medium-sized dog against a big dog. That could be ugly. I do find it interesting that you and I, Sarah, both have a dog named Lily.
Lily's Christian name is Lilith, spawn of Satan. So Lily for the neighbor's ears.
Right. That's a good point. I mean, our dog's true name is Lady Lillian of St. Andrews Bay.
So there you go.
Lily for short. Actually, Lily the Wonder Dog for short. Anyway, so then there's supposedly some veteran who actually has his crap together, which makes you think, well, what is he doing in this place where they're supposed to be treating PTSD when he's got as much on the ball as Julia Roberts? And then they flash forward. Julia Roberts is working as a waitress, and they're questioning her about her role in this program, and she can't remember it, or is she denying it? And apparently it's just the best acting she's done in a long time. And
so it's some sort of experimental type shit.
Yes.
It's an experiment.
Yes, and so the whole program, and none of the episodes last longer than a half hour. It's only a 10-episode thing. So it's really almost not much longer than a movie. And
It's like a miniseries.
yeah.
Hey, dude, speaking of miniseries,
Yeah.
well, you go ahead. You go ahead first. Finish your thing.
So I'm finishing it, haven't seen it, want to see it, and will see it. Now you.
Okay, check this out. I may have mentioned this before, and this is like, you should watch this too, Dad. I don't know, like, if you'll find time, but there's this fucking show on Netflix called Castlevania.
You have touted its praises before.
You have.
Dude, the first season was fucking insane,
Right.
but the second season was just it was a masterpiece. There's no other show like
Hey,
it.
I heard the creator for Castlevania got tapped to create something else, and I can't think of what it is right now.
I don't know, but here's the thing: is that the first season is only 4 20-minute episodes, okay,
All right.
and the second season is only 8 20-minute episodes. So it's not a huge commitment. You can do it in a night.
You're
Like,
telling me to like do that today?
it is fucking good. Yeah, you got the day off. Do it. I'm telling you, there's no other show like it.
Well, all right. I mean, that's an endorsement that is difficult to ignore.
Not on Netflix anyway. It's got an 89% on Rotten Tomatoes, 8 out of 10 on IMDb. TV.com only gives us a 7.9 out of 10, but what the fuck do they know?
Well, you round that up, that's an 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
This doesn't.
All right. I'm convinced. I will watch it. It's on the list right alongside the other one.
Yeah, it's
10
on
episode
Netflix.
third season has been greenlit.
Homecoming.
Woo! I don't know what they're going to do with third season, but I want to see it
Adam
anyway.
Shankar. Yeah. You with eyebrows. What else have you been picked for?
So,
This
Sarah,
guy's eyebrows are nuts.
what about you? Anything interesting? You see any films?
I'm going to go see Bohemian Rhapsody or whatever on Tuesday. Super stoked for that.
Yeah. I mean, I love the music of Queen. Freddie Mercury. He and I share a birthday, interestingly
I didn't
enough.
know that.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Freddie Mercury, the bisexual icon of the LGBT community.
Right.
Woo!
And your father have the same birthday. Also an icon of the LGBT community.
Mm.
No?
This is news. Is this more news that is coming to us live on this podcast?
Is this a coming out story we're going in right now?
Well, I appreciate everyone's concern about my sexuality, but no, despite sharing a birthday with Freddie Mercury, I'm not gay.
It's a hell of a cliffhanger.
It was, wasn't it?
Just to clear the air, you're not also secretly bisexual, though.
No, I'm very open about that. Very open. That I'm not.
Good.
That I'm not.
I'm glad we cleared that up.
I think we cleared it up. Hard to say. No,
Did we? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Anyway, I'm not gay, but I'm willing
Everyone's
to
a
learn.
little gay.
Right, exactly. I'm no more gay than anyone
To what
else.
extent are you gay? That's
Just how gay are you, would you say? No, I'm not. I'm pretty confirmed hetero. But anyway, that's not the point. The point is that Bohemian Rhapsody has been reviewed pretty poorly, actually.
really.
Yeah, they
I really
say,
Well,
like
I mean, it's
the guy who
first off,
plays
it's my first thing is I saw that it was PG-13, and I was like, Freddie Mercury did not live a PG-13 life. That's disingenuous.
yes, I think that's issue number one with this film, right? Issue number one is that it is really kind of a whitewash of the Freddie Mercury story. The guy was off the chain before anybody knew what that meant.
Right. He forged the chain himself.
That other people then got off of.
Right.
Or got off on. Anyway, so I hope you enjoy that film. That is kind of the big... by the way, Brad was supposed to see that movie yesterday, but he foolishly bought tickets to the movie today. So we went to Annapolis, and he did not see that movie. So he might see it today if he can talk us into driving him back to Annapolis.
Huh.
Can he drive himself now?
Well, he could, but he still has not actually gotten his license. So, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Got to get on that shit.
Yeah, there's a lot that needs to be done. There's really no shortage of things to do ever, at any time.
Well, I hear that.
Yeah, that's right. So anyway, that kind of wraps up pop culture, I think, for the week. There's probably other stuff happening,
I mean, so have we talked about everyone's movies?
No, we haven't talked about yours.
Well, let me tell you something. Have you ever seen the film Spirited Away, my man?
Oh,
That's a good movie.
That's a great
Kill
movie.
horses.
That's the classic anime by, what's his name, from Japan, right?
Miyazaki, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Studio Ghibli film.
Yes. No, I've not seen it, but I've heard great things about it.
That's a great film. Yeah, it's actually, I'm gonna be honest with you, I was creeped out by it as like an adult. So it's definitely got some spooky elements. It's really good.
It does have some creepy, unsettling elements to it.
Listen, I'm just going to go ahead and come out right now. I thought I could hide this, but I legit thought you were talking about the Disney movie Spirit, about the horse.
Spirited Away.
Yeah, I mean, I know now. I realized once the whole Studio Ghibli thing came out, I realized the error of my ways. But
Yeah,
that's actually the only... I've seen Ponyo, I guess, but that's one of the only Studio Ghibli films I've seen.
Oh, dude, what? Howl's Moving Castle?
I've seen parts of it, but I haven't watched all of it.
That is a fantastic movie.
All right, so the bottom line is you saw this for the first time, Noah?
Yes, I did. Very first time, brand new. Gotta tell you, it was good. It was good. It was crazy. It's a crazy film. Do you know anything about this film, man?
No, I don't know the first thing about it other than that it was done by the master of Japanese anime and that it's widely regarded as the premier example of the genre. That's all I really know about it. And I assume that you viewed this film by a variety of legal means.
Of course, the legalist of means that I do not care to disclose because we don't do free advertising here.
Good point. No, well, only for Ziffs, a fine dining establishment in Invercargill, New Zealand. That's the only free advertising we do for Ziffs.
It's exclusive.
It is. By the way, we're brought to you by Ziffs, a fine dining establishment in Invercargill, New Zealand. They don't know that. All right, so Noah, tell me about this film.
Well, okay, so the thing about this movie is it begins, right? You got a little girl in a car, all right? They're just driving with her parents. For some reason, they go off they turn off the road to like look somewhere. I don't remember why. It doesn't seem very clear to me. But then they find like this weird tunnel. So they go through the tunnel, and then there's like this whole massive village and stuff. And they're like, wow, there's nothing but food stores, but nobody's here. And then they found a bunch of cooked food. Parents start eating the food, and then they turn into pigs, you know? So parents turn into literal pigs. Get scared. She starts running, you know? And then she meets this guy named Haku, and Haku's like her dude, you know, helps her out.
Spirit animal. Her spirit animal.
What's up?
Her spirit animal.
Yeah, some would say that.
Yeah.
And then, you know, they meet up, and he shows her where to go. He leads her through. Everyone's like, oh, we smell human. You know, we got to get that human out of here. So he's like, go here and ask for a job from Kamaji, you know, and she goes down, asks for a job, manages to get a job. And then, you know, a bunch of...
In a crack house? A bathhouse. Okay, bathhouse, yeah. I mean, a crack house would have been ahead of its time.
Yeah. Oh, man, that would be dark. But no, it's a bathhouse. And yeah, you know, a bunch of good stuff ensues, a bunch of random Studio Ghibli nonsense, you know.
Right. Absolutely.
Crazy animation and a dude with 6 arms, but, you know.
Does she ever get her parents back, or are they permanently pigified?
Whoa. Let's not spoil anything here. Okay?
I got it. Spoiler alert. Well, it sounds...
Watch it.
Yeah, gotta watch it. By a variety of legal means.
The film came out in 2001, though, so, I mean, it should be pretty cheap now to find.
Okay. Yeah,
extremely cheap.
Yeah, I bet I could probably find it on Google Play. I bet I could.
Yeah. For sure.
Is that your movie buying platform of choice?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I don't buy movies generally. If it's
movie renting?
You know, I have rented movies from Google Play Music. I've rented them from Voot. I'm kind of agnostic on the movie rental front.
Yeah, I'll rent from whichever place I look has it first.
That makes sense. That does. Let's see. So I am actually trying to rent this movie right now. Trying to run it. Trailers and clips, reviews, cast, characters, overview. I'm trying. All right, how do I rent this thing?
Maybe you don't.
Maybe I have to use a variety of legal means.
Maybe
you variety being the key.
Right. I can watch it in 30-second clips on YouTube, someone having filmed it off the TV screen. Oh, okay. I can get it on Amazon.com. You can use you can use Hola Unblocker and watch it on Netflix. Interesting. How would I? There's enough questions that say basically there's enough questions on the internet that say how can I watch it legally? That suggests to me that you can't watch it legally. I managed
to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a DVD of it. If you really want, I could mail it to you.
Like Netflix.
Sounds too difficult. Like Netflix. Right. Right. For $4.99 a week, I can mail you this. This sounds like a business model.
Right.
An excellent business model.
Yeah.
It's a shame no one's done it before.
It sure is. Well, anyway, so I'll try and watch Spirited Away. Excellent review, son. My favorite part of the review, a bunch of Studio Ghibli nonsense.
It is a bunch of nonsense.
Very descriptive. All right, well, let's wrap it up with a look at the week ahead. So I'm traveling this week. I kind of described some of that off mic to some of you. So I've got a bunch of travel going on this week. How about the rest of you? What are y'all doing?
We are also traveling this week.
Yeah, where to? You just got back from a cruise, for heaven's sakes.
Yeah, well, we're going to go out to Denver and watch UFC 231.
Really? How fun. Yeah. Is that taking place in Denver?
Yes. It might not actually be I don't think it's a pay-per-view. I don't remember.
But it's an event.
Yeah.
That sounds like great fun, man.
The fam's going to go do that.
Terrific.
We'll probably see if Uncle Geimer is available for some sort of din-din situation.
Oh, he'll make himself available. I feel confident. He's very social that way.
And then I'm getting... Well, okay, so that's Saturday. So we might not actually be available on Sunday. We might be driving.
Yeah, we'll work it out. All right, and in the meantime, Nick, are you going to that too, or you got to work?
No, I'm going to that.
Oh, you got to go. Got to go. So you're going to peep some MMA next week. Awesome. And I know you're probably working every day this week.
Yeah.
Work.
Every damn day. You're working.
How very grown up of you.
Well,
I'm so proud.
Yeah, well, you're blue collar.
The look he just gave me.
Yeah. Has to be done. All right, Noah, what are you doing this week? Working also?
Yeah, I'm doing that grind thing. I freaking praying the car doesn't collapse. I'm hoping I did all the car work right. You know, I'm kind of iffy on these shock absorbers.
I'm sure you did it fine.
One of them.
I have a lot of confidence in you. I'm sure it'll be fine. If the wheel falls off, you'll know.
If the wheel falls off, you know who to blame.
Yeah, if the wheel falls off, you'll know. Yeah, yourself. Makes sense. Okay, well, and are you still going to school? You going to school too?
Talking to me?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm in. I finished my psych class with a very high grade, and now I'm on macro. Actually, I have a test this week. That's fair. I do have a test this week.
All right.
I guess news.
Yeah, that's news. Well, good luck on that. Well,
Thank
I
you.
hope everyone has a great week. Enjoy the UFC contest in Denver. And, of course, it was great talking to you, kids.
Yeah.
A pleasure, as always.
A pleasure, as always.
All right. And with that... A Shinn Show, a Shinn Show, a Shinn Show. A Shinn Show is a production of Shinfluence and features the voices and opinions of the Shinn family. It's brought to you by Ziff's, a fine dining establishment in Invercargill, New Zealand. All right, that's it. Good job.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap, folks.
It is. I think I enjoyed this one more than any of them. I can't tell you why.
On that note, I have to go to work now.
Got it.
So,
you do.
good podcast, everybody.
All right. In the immortal
First,
words...
I got to fix my fucking hair. And then
There's nothing wrong. What's wrong with your hair? What do you shake? It looks the same as it did last
That's
night.
because I'm wearing headphones right now.
Yeah.
The back is all fucked up. I just got to wet it down and reset it.
Yeah.
Do you need a brush?
Blank page. Dude, a brush just makes my hair look like it was fucked up and then I brushed it. I want it to look normal is what I want it to look like.
Isn't that what
No,
okay,
there's
all right.
there's my natural normal hair, and then there's like, okay, I can tell you woke up and your shit was all fucked up. I'm just trying to brush it down.
Okay. I didn't know that there was a distinction.
There totally
Clearly,
is.
I've been
When I
doing
try to
my
I'm like,
hair
this just
wrong.
looks like I just fucking brushed it down. Like you can tell it's still fucked up. I just brushed it down.
Right. It's like you didn't really even put an effort into it.
But you did. You put more effort.
But then it's just I look weird with brushed hair. Have you seen me with brushed hair? No, you haven't. You haven't even seen it. I look weird with it. I'm telling you. All right.
All right. Good luck with your hair, son. Good luck.
Okay, bye.